How did a 17-minute psychedelic jam become one of the best-selling rock albums of the 1960s? This is the story of In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, the album that sold millions, influenced generations, and defined an era. There was a lot going on in 1968. The Vietnam War was escalating. The nightly news broadcast was showing the brutal brutalities of combat. Back home, the United States was in turmoil. The assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Robert Kennedy were major events, and protests and riots erupted in cities coast to coast. But amidst the chaos, something strange and beautiful was happening. Young people were turning to music as both an escape and a way of creating change. This was the heart of the counterculture movement, with long hair, peace signs, LSD, and a hunger for something deeper than the top 40 hits of the early 60s. Psychedelia was taken over, and music was no longer just 3-minute pop songs. It was evolving into something bigger. FM radio was fairly new. It was getting more popular. Unlike AM radio stations, FM DJs had the freedom to play album cuts, long tracks, and full sides, and this was what a band like Iron Butterfly needed. People were ready for something different, something heavier, and that's what In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida was giving them. It was an album that captured the madness, mystery, and momentum of the year 1968. Let's go back to the beginning. Before they made rock history, Iron Butterfly were just another young band trying to find their place in the exploding California music scene. They formed in San Diego in 1966. Their sound included heavy guitar riffs, psychedelic organ melodies, and hypnotic rhythm section. This paved the way for a sound that would sit somewhere between psychedelia and the earlier beginnings of heavy metal. The first album, Heavy, was released in early 1968. It showed promise. The music had gritty vocals and fuzzy guitars, but it was just the beginning. Later that year, with a new lineup and a tighter musical chemistry, they returned with something much more ambitious, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. The album was released in June 1968 by Atco Records, and it only contained 6 songs. But there was one song that became a hit, and it was the one that you probably wouldn't have expected. This song took up the entire second side of the album. It was the title track, an epic 17-minute jam session filmed with big drums, eerie organs, and this hypnotic groove. It was something unlike anyone had ever experienced before. At a time when most hits lasted 2 or 3 minutes, Iron Butterfly dared to go long, go heavy, and go deep, and somehow, against all odds, millions of people couldn't get enough. So how did a 17-minute psychedelic jam turn into one of the biggest rock records of all time? For starters, the sound was unlike anything else. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida wasn't clean or polished. It was raw, heavy, and psychedelic. In other words, it was just what people wanted to hear. The song included distorted guitar riffs, Doug Ingles' eerie organ, Ron Bush's epic extended drum solo, and it gave the track a dark, almost trance-like atmosphere. It was the type of music that demanded your attention. This was especially popular amongst the stoners who could just smoke a fat one and sit back and enjoy a song that's almost 20 minutes long. They were able to get lost in the song, and that was the point of it. It was one of those word-of-mouth types of things, and the album eventually exploded. It sold over 30 million copies worldwide, and it wasn't because of hype or some type of marketing strategy. It was just this pure grassroots momentum. It was basically fans buying it and telling their friends to buy it as well. You could even say that the band accidentally tapped into the collective consciousness of a generation hungry for something new and different. This is the part of the video where I show my vinyl record. I usually show albums that I bought in Mexico because that's where I live. I bought this in Mexico. It's an American version, but there is some text in Spanish. The front of the album shows the album cover. It looks like the standard album cover. The back features a lot of background information on the different members of the band and a short biography of the band itself. It has the track listing, which are 5 short songs on side 1, and side 2 features the long title track. My record is a black vinyl. It has the Atlantic sticker, and you can see the song titles here. And that's pretty much my vinyl. Let me know in the comments if you have this album or what variant you have. A lot of people talk about the title track In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, but there's actually like 5 other songs on this album, and they're all on side 1. All the songs are about like 2 and 4 minutes each, and they make up the entire first side. So it's something people don't talk about that much, but I think the songs are some pretty decent psychedelic rock. I thought the sound was a little similar to the band The Doors. They had their own style. You could hear the influence, but they weren't trying to copy them. The opening track, Most Anything You Want, is probably the most Doors sounding track, but that was due to the similar organ sound. I heard a little bit of Light My Fire, like that melody in the song. And the song also sounded like a typical rock song of the 60s. Flowers and Beads is more of a laid-back psychedelic song. It's very hippie, very peace and love. It's very happy. It reminded me of something like Monday Monday by the Mamas and the Papas or something like that. It's the type of song for frolicking through the grass and anything like that. My Mirage was a little trippier. It had the church organs. I like this one a lot. It had a very trippy and psychedelic sound. Maybe one of the better tracks. Termination's a cool song. It had some fuzzy sounding guitars, a very late 60s type of song. Are You Happy sounded like some trippy surf music with the fast drum beats and fuzzy guitars. I would even say the first side was pretty good if you like psychedelic rock. This was one of those rare albums that was a game changer. It was something different. It was heavy and hypnotic. It was a type of album no one would have expected to have sold millions. It also helped change the musical landscape at the time as bands were making longer songs. Not just those 3-minute, like short pop songs like the Beatles were doing. Bands were taking more chances. Music was becoming something that they could take the listener on a journey. The band is also influential. I think later on in the years to come, you can hear some of their influence in sounds of the other bands like Black Sabbath. You can hear a little bit of that in Deep Purple, and you can even hear echoes of their sound in Pink Floyd. No pun intended. The song helped lay the groundwork for both hard rock and early heavy metal. In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, the song itself was very popular. It's been covered many times. Slayer covered it in 1987 for the Less Than Zero soundtrack. Blind Guardian covered it for their Fly EP in 2006. And probably the most famous cover or version of it is in The Simpsons when Bart changed the sheet music of the church organist and had everyone singing it in Sunday Mass. As for the critics, they've always been split. Some called it very bloated or repetitive. But fans made up their mind a long time ago. It's an album that's kind of weird, but kind of bold. It's an album that came out at the right place at the right time. Iron Butterfly may not have stayed up top, but with this record, they carved their name in rock history. So that's the story of In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida. It's the album that sold millions and broke the mold and pushed rock music into deeper, heavier territory. Whether you see it as a psychedelic masterpiece or just this over-the-top jam session, there's no denying its impact. The album was a reflection of the chaos and creativity of the year 1968. Somehow, a band called Iron Butterfly captured that moment and turned it into one of the most iconic rock albums of that era. But now I want to hear from you. Do you own this one on vinyl? What's your favorite part of the album? Do you like the organs? Do you like the first side, the second side? Or just let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe for more rock and metal history and physical media, which is really my intention for creating this second channel. A lot of you know me from my first channel, JC Rock and Metal Reviews. That's all about music and new reviews, more of a metal focused channel, but this one tends to be more classic rock oriented. So that is all. I will see you in the next one.